We're in Celebration Key. This is our first port on the Carnival Freedom, and I thought I would take you on a tour of this new private island for Carnival. It is a little bit of a walk on the pier to get to the entrance to Celebration Key, but they do have a tram that is available that can take you there, and they will also drop you off and pick you up at each section. So when you go into Celebration Key, it's kind of divided. There is Calypso Lagoon on the left side, and then there is Starfish Lagoon on the right side. So most people that are traveling with families do go to the rights because there are all kinds of things for the kids, and parts of the Calypso Lagoon are just for adults only. Upon entering, you will see directly in front of you the Sun Castle racing slides. So there are two water slides that you can purchase. It is not included. It's not a free attraction. So it's basically like buying a shore excursion, and that'll give you unlimited rides on the water slides. But then also, if you do purchase a cabana, a large cabana, or a super villa, you will also get unlimited rides on these water slides included as well. At the tunnel that's under the sand castle, you'll see they're getting ready to do a parade. So at various times throughout the day, they do have a parade that comes through here and then the walkway that goes along the shopping area. And they do this several times a day. So I wanted to go ahead and start the tour with you guys on the Calypso Lagoon side. That is, once you walk through, going toward the left. And there's a map there that will kind of split it up, so you can see the sand castle is directly in the middle. Then when you go to the left, you have the various parts of the Calypso Lagoon, and then to the right is various parts of the Starfish Lagoon. And starting with the Calypso Lagoon, that's the adults only area, and they have really nice umbrellas and chairs. There's plenty of them. There were two ships in port while we were here, and it never seemed crowded. And then you have the beach area that we will go to as well, but you can see both ships are at port today. There are day beds that you can rent, and the day beds for two people are $149.99 for the day there. If you're not interested in the cabanas or the day beds, there are plenty of seats with umbrellas, and the umbrellas are at no cost. So you can just grab a seat with some shade. There are hammocks throughout as well, but there are the cabanas that you can rent at additional cost. You'll see here there is a bar that has swings. There are swings on each side, so if you want to be on the pool side, you can do that, and there's also swings on the other side as well. But the lagoons were very spacious. It did not feel crowded. There was not very many people in them, and they were also very cold. So while we were there in October, the lagoon was freezing. You also have the super villas that are available, and the pricing for those are up to 10 people. They do start out as $1,799 for the day. You have a sectional sofa, hammocks, loungers, lockers, coolers, and then you have a stocked mini fridge with non-alcoholic drinks, and you can get snacks and lunch delivered daily as well. You also have the cabanas, and depending on the size of your cabana and where it's located, the cabanas do start at $599.99, and those are for up to 6 people. If you are on this side of the Calypso Lagoon, this is where you're going to meet the tram to get taken back to the ship, and then you'll see that little archway. That's the entrance into the Calypso Beach. So we're also going to go along the beach, and I will share with you my thoughts of the water. There's also some swings, day beds, hammocks, and cabanas for rent on the beach as well. The sand is white, powdery sand, and you can see that there is a little bit of seaweed that's washing up. But then the further you go back from the ship and the entrance, the cleaner it seems to get, but it does have beautiful water, just a little bit of seaweed, and then you can see how close. You can see the ships when you are sitting in the chairs. There's plenty of chairs, lifeguards on duty, and umbrellas on almost every set of chairs. And if you can see down at the very end, that is the all-inclusive part that does cost, but besides that, all of the umbrellas are free here. They do have day beds that are available and some cabanas to rent that are additional prices, but there's lots of free options. And it's about 9:30, so we did just get here at 8 o'clock, so it's not gotten too crowded yet, but you can see it's starting to get a little crowded. But the sand is just that fine, soft, powdery sand and beautiful waters. So we have 2 ships at this port today. We're on the Freedom, and then the Sunshine is here as well. You can see that that is kind of a long pier to walk down, so they do have a tram available, and I'll show you where the tram does take off from when you want to return to the ship. Right now, obviously, there's no lines because we just got here at port, but it is quite a walk to get down to the entrance. This is the Pearl Cove Beach Club. So this is all-inclusive. You do have to pay to enter this area, so it appears like you get this private area of the beach. There are people guarding to make sure that you've paid, and then you have all these little cabanas, and I can't go in to show you the actual amenities inside, but this is the area. It's at the very end, so very secluded area, and this is Pearl Cove where you do have the all-inclusive option to purchase. So as you can see, that is the inside, the entrance to Pearl Cove. Very quiet in this area. So if you want to do just the club access, it is $99 per person. And then if you want to do the open bar, that makes it $139. But then if you want to do it all inclusive, which is all the drinks and the food, it's $179.99 per person. So I'm kind of just walking around the sidewalk all the way around the exterior of Celebration Key, which is on the island, the Grand Bahama Island. And you can exit into the Grand Bahama. I'll show you that when we get to it. But this is the area where you'll start to see some of the food options. I decided to eat at the Flipping Fritters, which when you see the menu, they have a la carte, which you can purchase, but then when you see Island Eats, that's what's included with your ship card. So that's the food that's included. So with this particular food truck, it came with 6 fritters, and that is what I got. It was supposed to be sweet potato fries, but it was regular fries and then a slaw. And then you had some other options. Now when you go to the other side where the Starfish Lagoon is, there are also different options there as well. So they're not the same food trucks. They do have completely different food trucks over on the other side as well. And they also have restaurants along that are a discount with the Island Eats. So you can get like 40% off here, but they don't actually have an entree that you can get for free. You do have to purchase separately. And then here is the peninsula part. These are the super villas, so you can see that these are at additional cost, and they do have a concierge service to get there, so you can get any kind of services that you need along with the villas when you purchase those as well. So as you go along, like toward the center of the Celebration Key part, you'll notice that this area was a lot less crowded than the first area that I showed you. So this is the north part of Calypso Lagoon, closer to the food trucks, also closer to the exit of Grand Bahama, but further away from the beach area and the entrance into Celebration Key. So if you're looking for a little bit more of a relaxing, less crowded area, then this might be an option for you. So if you actually want to exit out of Celebration Key into the main island of the Grand Bahama Island, then you would go through that green building that I had just shown you, and then this area right here is the shopping area. So you do have a few stores that you can shop at. There is like a souvenir shop for Celebration Key, and then you also have some of your regular shops that you see like Del Sol and places like that. So the shopping center is kind of like right across from where you go under the sand castle and the tunnel. Then it just has a little walkway where all of the shops are located. And here you can see this is the side of Calypso Lagoon from the walkway. So now I wanted to show you the Starfish Lagoon side. So it is basically set up the same way as the Calypso Lagoon, except the Calypso Lagoon did have a swim up bar. This side has a splash pad that the other side does not have, and then it also has a little bit more food choices on this side as well. And then there's another type of cabana. It's an aqua cabana that they have on the Starfish side as well. But if you have smaller children, you're going to want to go down the pier and turn to your right to the Starfish Lagoon side, because this is where you're going to go with smaller children. But they do have some water that is very shallow with the splash pads, and they also have life jackets that are provided for if you need them for the smaller children as well. So if you want other options for food, there are some food trucks that I'll show you a little bit later. They're around the back side of the Starfish Lagoon area. But toward the front, toward the entrance, there is the Captain's Food Hall. So there are a few little places that you can choose from, different food options in the food hall. And then I had mentioned there were some cabanas that you could rent on this side that was not available on the Calypso side. And these are the aqua cabanas, and they are out in the water, and that is for up to 8 people. And the price for those are $449 for the day. And then you come along to where the sports area is. You have some volleyball, and then this little shaded area has some ping pong and some table activities, and then you have a basketball court that is over here as well. So this is just like your little sport area, and then you can see the beaches behind it. And then they had food truck options on this side as well. They were different than the ones on the Calypso side, and I wish I had seen these before, because I would have probably picked up the tacos, the fish tacos, instead of the fritters that I chose. But I didn't come here until after I had already eaten, and there is a different variety on the Starfish side. And then you kind of come to the beach area on the Starfish Lagoon side. This is Starfish Beach, and it doesn't seem as crowded as the other side. And then you can see the 2 ships in the background, but it is a little bit later in the day, so I believe some people were already making their way back to the ship. And then it did look like it was a little rainy in the back, so some people may have already been back to the ship, but it did not seem very crowded at all on the beach on the Starfish Beach. And then as we walk around again, I just wanted to kind of show you that it's almost identical to the other side. There are some added amenities to this side for the smaller kids, but then you also have another restaurant that is on this side that doesn't have like the Islands Eats, where there is a free entree included with it, but it does have where there's a 40% discount. So it's something that you would actually purchase but get the 40% off. So we are actually just walking back around to the center part where the shopping area is, and you can see it is just like the other side. The north side seemed to be less crowded than the south side. There were lots of people on the south side. And then here is another look at some of these shops that you have. But I think that Celebration Key is such a fantastic new addition to Carnival's private island, and I just loved everything about Celebration Key. So that is going to be all from Celebration Key, and I'm here with Misty from Bliss Abounds. We're on this vacation together, so make sure to check out her video on everything to do at Celebration Key, and I will link her YouTube channel down below. So thanks for watching.